everyone. In the previous class, what we found that what is importance of definition of set, after that Cartesian product and function, and after that we land up to the boundary operation in order to define any system. Okay, or if you are going to develop or try to understand any system, even if you can you can take very generalized system like finance, biological system, everywhere we are going to use this kind of notion. And I have taken very simple example in the previous class, and what we found that I have some kind of boat or underwater vehicle, and that is basically moving inside the water, and after that I have captured the mathematical model of that underwater vehicle, and I have told you that mathematical model may be infinite. Why? Because I have to create some kind of law which can map from input to output. So there is infinite many way to define function that is conformed from mathematics, such that I can able to relate domain to codomain. And due to that reason I have several mathematical model, and out of that mathematical model, based on our requirement, since I have to control the velocity, I am going to select this particular model that is based on the Newton's law. And what we found in previous class, v dot is nothing but dv by dt. So either you can write v dot or dv by dt, both are exactly the same, and ut, and after that I have some kind of force that is going to act, and this is some kind of drag force, you can tell, or you can interpret as a friction force that is going to act inside the water. So terminology, whatever terminology you want, you can use, that is doesn't matter here. And after that, whatever things I have substituted here, that is coming from the observation from the hard science. And after that we are going to represent the system. If you are writing equation like this, then this equation has no meaning. Okay, so you have to quantify each and every variable, and you have to write that vt belongs to r. Suppose if you are not writing v2 belongs to r, it might possible that one can interpret v as a v1, v2, v3 up to vn, and someone can able to understand that v is some kind of vector, and that vector has n number of component, and each component, if that is real, then they can write like this: r Cartesian product r up to n time, and that is r power n. People are also writing. So equivalently, suppose if you are writing r Cartesian product r, then people are writing this kind of symbol. Okay, so due to that reason, what I am telling that whenever you are writing any kind of differential equation in control system, then please quantify, or please actually tell that what is universe, where basically velocity is lying. So I am assuming that whatever velocity that is going to generate, that is going to lie on those kind of space where vt is always real number. So I have used the symbol of the set, and after that similar kind of comment I have, that whatever ut I am going to use, that is again a some kind of real number. So if you are going to write like this, then automatically what people is able to understand that this is single input single output system, because here you can see that vt belongs to some kind of real number and power is 1, ut belongs to r and power is 1. So there is no need to write that what is order of system. Okay, so if you are writing in this way, then this way is more complete than directly write v dot equal to ut minus v mod v. Then you have to write in sentence that v is some kind of real number, and that belongs to some kind of a space of the real number only. So that kind of, but if you write symbolically, then that is enough. Okay, up to here anyone has confusion? Now one more important point, that there is no you can see that whenever we are writing right hand side of this particular differential equation, this is differential equation, then I have two terms ut and v, and at that time now I have to tell that there exists some kind of function, and what is beauty of that function, that if you apply this input, then whatever output I am going to get, that is unique, and that is function of now two variable. One variable is coming from ut and another variable is v. So this is functional representation, and we are writing f, and you know that ut belongs to r, real number, and v belongs to r, and that map to again real number, because right hand side is v dot. So if v belongs to some kind of real number, their derivative obviously belongs to some kind of real number, and in this way we are going to define the map. So whatever representation I have used here, that is the complete representation of the system. So whenever we are going to represent any system in the control system, at that time what we are expecting, or what control community is expecting, that you can use the notion of set, notion of Cartesian product, notion of function. Notion of function is important because we are talking about the uniqueness of output. Due to that reason, you can express system in this form. This class of system is also called force system. We will come to that terminology in the latter part of this course. Here, after defining up to function, now you might have actually learn about the binary operation, and most of time student is confused whenever they are seeing this terminology binary operation. They are thinking that some operation between 0 and 1, but that is not the case. In today's lecture I am going to give you several examples where I can generalize this notion of binary operation. So here obviously, if you take just 0 and 1, and if you define operation like 0 plus 0 equal to 0, 0 plus 1 equal to 1, and 1 plus 0 equal to 1, and after that 1 plus 1 equal to 0, or 1 plus 1 equal to 1, even if you can define like 1 plus 1 equal to 1. In this course we will see that it is possible that I can define 1 plus 1 equal to 1 also. That is not a problem. If we will define like this, then what kind of difficulty actually comes in terms of exams, I will tell you why people are not defining 1 plus 1 equal to 1. So here you can see that after performing operation, I am going to live inside that set only. So whatever operation, whenever we are talking about binary operation, then we are taking two quantity, and after that we are going to make sure that whatever third quantity or resultant quantity that comes into picture, that should be lie from the same set. That is very, very important. And due to that reason, we are telling that binary operation is closed with respect to that particular operation. Sometimes people are using natural that operation addition and multiplication for real number, so they are interpreting everything in terms of that only. But I will tell you that how to define addition and multiplication in different contexts. Okay, so basically main message that is coming from binary operation, that you can perform operation, and after that whatever quantity that going to come into picture, that should be also lie from the same set. So here this is called binary operation, because here you can see that inside this set I have two elements 0 and 1, and after that if I perform the operation, then I am not defining 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So if you define 1 plus 1 equal to 2, that is not a binary operation. Why? Because 2 is not element of this particular set. So anyone has confusion, then please let me know. Anyone? So have you understand the message of binary operation? Binary operation is closed with respect to operation. Any operation you can do, not only addition and multiplication, but we are telling that okay, some operation whatever we are defining, that is addition like operation. Okay, so addition and multiplication is very, very broad. I will tell you using some kind of examples. And after that, I have told you in previous class that I have several places I have symmetry, and how to capture that symmetry. For that we need some kind of algebraic structure, because if I have algebra, then same kind of work we are able to perform using machine. So whatever way we are understanding things, we try to communicate that things to machine. That is our main goal of engineering, that we are understanding something. Now I am going to communicate same kind of things in some kind of unique way, such that machine is not going to confuse, because that is very, very stupid object. So due to that reason, I have to communicate with machine in very, very proper way. And machine, most of time machine is not able to understand the geometry, but they are able to understand the algebra. and due to that reason, whenever I have some kind of geometry or symmetry, you can tell, then we are try to translate that symmetry or geometry in terms of algebra. That is our main goal. So if we are able to interpret in terms of algebra, then we are also able to communicate with machine, and due to that reason, a structure from from here to here comes into picture. So set represent membership magma. After that, you can see that if you apply some kind of operation here, this is binary operation, means whatever set I have some set S, and after performing operation on this set, if that is binary operation, then whatever object that is going to comes into picture, that is also lie inside same set. So we are not going to leave that set. So it means that if we are going to start with two chemical reaction, then we are hoping that whatever third chemical reaction that comes into picture, that is somehow resemble the previous chemical reaction or some part of previous chemical reaction, so a strange thing will not come. It means that if you are going to start from real number, so you have to define operation in such a way such that again you land up to the real number only. You are not going to leave the set of real number. Okay, so whenever we are talking about binary operation, then we are become very specific. After that, now you can see that I have another thing, associativity, identity, or inverse. So in next class I am going to talk about this group in more explicit way, but for time being, you can just imagine that group is nothing but some kind of a structure, algebraic structure, which is resemble some kind of symmetry or some kind of, I have some kind of geometry where symmetry is involved. Now I am going to capture that using some kind of numbers, some kind of another kind of operation, such that I can communicate with the machine. That is the main goal of the group. Similar goal of the ring, and they are telling that not with respect to one operation, but you can define two operation, then also you can generate the symmetry. Okay, so you can tell that if something is more symmetrical, then this kind of a structure comes into picture. And I will tell you the other terminology in the next subsequent classes. So let us now start with the some question, and I have selected some specific questions, and I have already solved that also in order to save my time, because you all are already well aware about all things. So here I have started with the functions. Okay, so why I have started with the function? Because I have already told you that whenever you are now going to define any machine, so I have this machine I am going to build, I have applied some kind of input to this machine, and whatever output I am going to get, that is somehow function or some kind of mapping, you can tell. Okay, so more generalized thing is mapping. So most of time whenever we are using the word function, at that time we are giving some kind of input as a real number and getting some kind of output as a real number or some form of real number, but mapping is little more explicit. Okay, so in terms of variable also we can able to talk about the mapping. So both terminology for this course is exactly the same, we are assuming. Now we are telling that suppose I have some function f that map from x to y. It means that I have some kind of system where input is x and output is y. Please be careful here. Suppose that if this x input has more than one variable, x1, x2, xn, then we are writing this, just I have told you that we are writing like that belongs to R, because each entry is real number power n, because I have n number of variable. Similarly, if y has suppose y1, y2 up to ym, so at that time I am going to write that belongs to Rm. So like that we are going to write. So here it might possible that I have several situation, m equal to n, m less than equal to n, or m greater than equal to n. So that is different combination we will see in the later part of this course. So I have defined this function. Most of time what happens that, suppose if you take the example, previous example, whatever example I have given of the underwater vehicle, so from there things become, I think that things become more clear to you. Suppose if I have underwater vehicle here, and I want to control the velocity. So I know that I am able to maintain velocity between 0 kilometer. 0 kilometer means I have to stop underwater vehicle and move between 25 kilometer per hour. I do not want to make those kind of system which move very fast. So I am going to maintain my underwater vehicle between this range. Suppose if that is for defense purpose, then I can increase the range of velocity. I can move with very high speed. So I know the output. So even if original output that I have defined, that is Vt, Vt belongs to R, means that is anything from minus infinity to plus infinity. Here I am also going to include minus 25, meaning is that I can move in forward direction and backward direction. I am assuming for time being. So here you can see that initially I am telling Vt belongs to R, but practically that is not feasible. Most of time I have restriction on this, and due to that reason, now whatever output map that is restricted in this particular region, and for time being I want to maintain velocity between minus 25 to 25. Interpretation of negative sign, that I want to move backward. Now corresponding to this, you can see that since I am applying some kind of thrust using some kind of motor or some kind of diesel engine, some kind of petrol engine, whatever I have, again we are assuming that whatever control input, that might be any real number, but that is not the story. Always there is certain kind of restriction, certain kind of bondedness. Okay, and due to that reason I have to make sure that suppose that I have suppose I have some velocity 25. So corresponding to that there exists input or not. So that kind of information I have to check, I have to provide to machine, that if someone want to move by 25 kilometer per hour, then what kind of velocity you have to what kind of force or thrust force you have to provide. That kind of information I have to give to the machine, and for that I have to talk inverse image. And due to that reason, now you try to again come to the our original system. So I am going to write in more explicit way. So I have defined function, and this is my input data and this is my output data. So x is input and y is output. But in original story, what happens that t is actually subset of this y. So in this particular example, I have maintaining my velocity between minus 25 to 25. So I have to find the inverse image of t such that control exists or not. So mathematically, how basically we are writing? We are writing like this. We are telling that there, if this system is feasible, then there exists this kind of mapping, that f inverse t, that is x, that is subset of x, such that fx that belongs to t. So that kind of things we are checking. So mathematically, because everywhere whenever we are communicating with machine, then we have to write program. So for that, symbolization is very important. Due to that reason, even if you are knowing this, please confirm it. After that, sometime I have now reverse problem. I want to know that if I apply some force of some magnitude, then what is output, what kind of velocity basically we are achieving. And this kind of information is required, because whenever you are going to sell some kind of boat to some kind of user, they are going to ask you the question that how much how bigger velocity I can achieve. And due to that reason, you have to define some another mapping. And for that, what I have to do, that and you know that I cannot tell user that whatever input you are going to provide, whatever thrust you are going to provide, that is infinity, means any real number. That is not the case, always bounded. And due to that reason, now I start some kind of limitation on my input also. So obviously, if input is bounded, then we are expecting that whatever output that is achieved, that is also bounded. So we are going to search that there exists some kind of s for that belongs to y or not. If that is not feasible, then we are telling that whatever machine I am going to develop, that is faulty machine or some problem with my machine. Now sometime it might possible that my system is very powerful. Whatever input I can apply, suppose I have nuclear reactor, I can generate any power, and I have some kind of arrangement, and I can move with any velocity. At that time, what happens, there is no limitation. Then you are able to define image like this. So these are just the definition. So you have to become little bit careful whenever you are writing. This symbol is called there exist. What is meaning of there exist? there are two situations. This is called quantifier. So in mathematics I have basically three quantifier, and most of time we are just talking about two quantifier. So this inverted A is called for every or for all, and inverted or reflection of E is called the there exists. So whenever we are talking about image of f, at that time we are assuming that there exists x belongs to x with fx equal to y. So what basically we are doing in this particular definition, we try to understand the terminology. We are not going to understand anything, we are just trying to understand the terminology such that I can write the some kind of program, such that I can communicate to the machine. That is very very important. And if you are not able to understand the terminology, then it is very difficult to write the program for machine also. Now another thing that you might have learned during your 10 plus 2, that whenever I have some kind of function, then I have some property of this function, and sometimes we are telling that that is surjective, injective or bijective, that kind of terminology. So I am just going to revise, because I know that this terminology is already, you are already well aware about this terminology. So whenever we are talking about surjective or onto, so at that time what we are telling that image is the range. So it means that y belongs to this y, because I have function from x to y. So if I will take some object from the image space, then f inverse y, that is not a empty set or non-void set, that is also people are telling. So that is the, I have written in terminology of mathematics, but you can interpret that as a non-empty set, like this. Similarly, whenever we are talking about injective, then we are talking about one-to-one relation. And one-to-one relation, how basically we are confirming that if x1 not equal to x2, then whatever mapping, that is all also not equal. And basically we are knowing this, that x1 is going to generate some kind of unique output, and x2 also going to generate some kind of unique output. If that is not matched, it means that they are going to map something else, and due to that reason, and x1 and x2 is, I am talking about any generalized element of this x. So using that I am going to conform it, that is one means, that is means I have on to into, and now I have one on to. So whenever we are talking about bijective, at that time what basically we are doing, we are going to see these both condition will satisfy or not. And at that time what basically we are telling, that if you apply f inverse, and this is composition f, that is identity function x, and after that x actually really come back to x. Similarly, if you do this kind of composition, then finally you are able to recover everything, because I have two different means domain and codomain, and we are talking about one and on two. So I have to recover everything that is the required. Now let us try to understand why I am defining this kind of things. So for that I will give you very brief overview. Suppose I have some system. Okay, so for time being I will tell you some imaginary system. Suppose I have this kind of some system is governed by x1 equal to 2x1 and plus 3x2, and after that I have x2 dot equal to something like 5x1 plus 5x1, you can take 0x2, like this. Now you can see that you have second order vector differential equation, and you are willing to solve it. I want to know what is x1 and x2. I know that x1 0 is given to me, and x2 to 0 is given to me. So solving second order equation is not so straightforward. So what I am going to do, I am going to simplify the problem. And how to simplify the problem? So in order to do that, I have, since I have x1 and x2, I have to find x1 and x2. So I am going to define some kind of function or some kind of transformation, such that I will go in this domain z1 and z2 domain. And what I am expecting, that since in x1 original domain, this is this is not actually, this system is not independent. What I am telling, why that is not independent, you can see that if you have some system like x1 dot equal to 2x1, then by variable separation you are easily able to solve. But what happens, difficulty comes into picture here, that is also depending on x2. Here x2 dot is also depending on x1, so both are depending on each other. But in some way, using some kind of transformation, if we are able to find that now I have exist some another coordinate frame z1 and z2 where both equation is decoupled. Decoupled means I am going to give guarantee that z1 dot is something like lambda 1 z1 and z2 dot equal to lambda 2 z2. So this kind of transformation I am going to search, such that what happens, now my solution process become little bit easy. Why I am telling little bit easy? Because during school time or during your college time, you have already learned how to solve first order differential equation. You know that I can solve first order differential equation like this, lambda 1 z1, and after that what I am going to do, that z1 and lambda 1 into dt, and after that I am assuming that at t equal to 0, this initial condition is zt0, and at t equal to t, this is zt, like that. Now if you solve this, then you are able to see that response can be given like this. I am just going to write the final solution, please check it, that zt equal to zt0 e power lambda 1 t minus t0, like that. Actually dz1 by z1 means ln z1, and if you substitute this, then z1 z2 comes into picture, and ln if you will take in this side, then this kind of solution comes into picture. So you can see that I know how to solve the first order differential equation, but I do not know how to solve the combined differential equation. So how to use the previous knowledge? Only one thing I have, that I will define some kind of transformation or function such that I can move from this domain to this domain, and in this domain system is not decoupled, means coupled. I have some kind of coupled system, and here I have some kind of decoupled system. So after finding this transformation, I can simplify this problem. But you can see that once you are finding some kind of transformation, I have limitation. What kind of limitation? After solving this equation, I have to make sure that I can return back to this also, because originally my everything in the original domain is x1 and x2. So after solving or after cooking everything in this domain, I have to return back, and due to that reason inverse is required. So whenever you are defining any kind of transformation, at that time you have to become very much careful that whatever transformation, that should satisfy the property of 1 1 and on 2. Otherwise you are able to move from one coordinate system to another coordinate system, but you are not able to return back. And if you see the control system, then in control system one of the most basic problem is still that is there, that how to define some kind of transformation such that if some system is looking very complicated in original coordinate frame, then that become very less means complicated in the transform frame. So defining the transformation, if you are able to coin some new transformation, it means that one paper you are able to get one paper one reward. That is the one of the problem, and most of the control researcher are searching for some good coordinate frame or good transformation. So here concept of 1 1 and 1 2 is involved, and due to that reason I am giving so much emphasis on the function. So up to here anyone has confusion, and I will tell you that how basically this transformation will exist in the next class. Whenever I am going to deal with eigenvalue and eigenvector, it is possible to show that by knowing the eigenvalue and eigenvector, I can define some kind of transformation based on eigenvalue and eigenvector such that this complicated system or coupled system is decoupled. So that portion I will cover in the next part of this course, but just for intuition, please just note it. Up to here anyone has confusion? Anyone? So I hope that you are able to understand the motivation to find bijective function, 1 1, those kind of function which is 1 1 and on 2. And most of time whatever transformation we are going to define in control system, that is somehow or some higher form of bijective map only. We are giving different name, that doesn't matter, because when a space will change, then we will give different name, but this is the primitive idea. Now let us come to the very quick example, because I know that all of you are already well aware about the into function, after that onto function, and after that you are also able to understand that what is how to prove one and onto. So let us try to see that I have taken some simple functions, and fx is 2 power x, and here fx is 1 to 1. It is possible to check whatever definition I have written. So using definition also you can you can check. You can take two element x1 and x2, and after that you can show this, and that this kind of things will never happens. Then also you are able to show the 1 but another way, geometrically also one can see this. So what you can do, you can concentrate on the function, definition of function. Here you can see that function f, this is real number to map to the real number. So I have domain as a real number, as well as whatever image space, that is also a real number. So if function is 1 to 1, then it is possible to show that each horizontal line doesn't contain more than 1 point on f. So if you draw some kind of horizontal line here, anywhere you can see, then that is not going to on cut this curve two times, and due to that reason also in that geometrical way you are able to claim that is 1 to 1 function. Similarly, now try to see the gx, and I am assuming that gx domain is again a real number and codomain is again real number, and this time function is this. So I have plotted this function. At this time you can see that if you cut this, then that is going to touch at more than 1 point, and due to that reason I cannot tell that is 1 but that is on 2. You are able to prove that you can take any point on y space, and after that correspondingly you can tell that there exists x. So that is one of the way. Geometrically what we are telling, that horizontal line contain at least 1 point on g. Okay, so you can take any horizontal line, so they are going to cut at least 1 point, any horizontal line anywhere you can do. If you see it here, this function hx equal to x square, this is neither 1 nor on 2. So here actually definition of function is contradicting, because 2 and minus 2 has same image 4, and minus 16 has no pre-image. So if you have something like minus 16, so I cannot able to see that what is pre-image of the 4. So like that we are able to tell that this is neither. So these kind of things are pretty simple. Similarly, I have taken one example, fx equal to sin x. Now what is your exercise? You have to check that whatever I have written here, that is correct or not. So you can see that what I have written, that domain is real number and codomain is real number. So you can take time to think, and I have written that is neither surjective nor injective. Okay, whenever I am defining the function, you can see that definition of function remains the same. Just now I am playing with the domain and codomain. If I change the domain and codomain, you can see that domain remains real number, but codomain is now limited to -1, or image space is limited to -1 to n. At that time, now what happens, this same function becomes surjective, but still not that is injective. So please check it by geometrical method or by the definition. You can check it. That is exercise for you. Similarly, if I am writing, now what I am going to do, I am going to change the domain. I am going to take domain from 0 to pi by 2, and now I have flexibility on the image space, and I am telling that range is anything r. So fx equal to sin x. Now it is possible to show that is injective but not surjective. So if I just play with domain and codomain, so now you can see that property of function is changing. So first place, that is neither surjective nor injective. Second place, that is surjective but injective, but function remains the same. Just I am playing with the domain and codomain. And after that, if I define like this, then that become bijective. means that is 1 and 1 and on 2. It means that sin x you can use as a some kind of transformation also if you are limited your analysis in this particular domain, and whatever image space that comes into picture, that is also lie in 0 to 1 only, then you can able to use sin x as a some kind of transformation also. And if you see this function fx equal to e power x, then that is also projective. So what kind of message I am going to give, that if you are defining some function and if you are not defining the domain or range of that function, then basically I cannot tell that sin x as a some kind of function. So whenever you are defining function, then you have to define their range and codomain. And similar kind of remark now I have, whenever you are defining the system, so every system is somehow some type of function. So and what is input of function, that I have some kind of what is domain of function, some kind of input, and what is range of some system, this is any system you can take, that is the output. So due to that reason you have to define input and output. So in previous example when I have talked about this ut and after that v, that is function of this, if you are not going to write like this, that f belongs to some kind of real number plus Cartesian product. So Cartesian product real number that map to real number, then there is no meaning of this particular system. I cannot able to understand what class of system this is, what kind of system this is. And due to that reason, this notion is very, very important to understand. Suppose that if your Vt, that is lie between some set D1 and subset of real number, and Ut belongs to D2 and again that is subset of real number, then you have to redefine your function. And how to redefine the function, you have to write f that D1 Cartesian product D2, and please be careful, since right hand side we are going to talk about this, that image space. So what happens that at that time again what I have to tell, I have to tell the following thing. So please be careful. Okay, so here what I have to tell, now we have to see that where v dot is lie. So it is possible to show that even if ut and v is lying on d1 and d2, but v dot, so v is lying on belongs to d1 and d is subset of r, but I cannot tell that rate of change is also lying on d1. So there exists some kind of function which lie in a small domain, but their derivative may lie anywhere in the real number, and due to that reason I am telling that I cannot control the rate in that way. So this is real number. Anyone has confusion on this notion? Then please let me know. So this is the story about the function. So function is responsible for the representation of the system. Function is also give clue that how to find some kind of transformation such that system looks like simple. Anyone has confusion till now? Anyone? Okay, if you don't have confusion, then now I am going to move to the next exercise, and this is basically exercise about the binary operation. So I have told you that you have already learned about the binary operation, and that binary operation about this particular set, and set has two elements 0 and 1, and after that we have defined the addition in some specific way, and we are assuming 1 plus 1 equal to 0, then that define a binary operation, because whatever element output that comes into picture, that is again lie in same set. So whenever we are defining binary operation, then we are going to do or going to check that whatever output that is going to comes into picture, that going to lie in the same set. Now please try to understand one thing, that if you see the mathematician, then what they are doing, they do not want to make some machine that is very, very complicated. That is their basic idea, even if they don't know how to create the machine. But they are, what they are going to do, they are only play with very simple game, and after that using some kind of other program they are mapping complicated game to simple game. So they are doing here also you are able to see that. Suppose I have some kind of function. So suppose if I have some kind of function you can define, and here this is time and this is ft. Okay, now suppose you have some other function g, and I am going to take arbitrary function t and gt. Now suppose if you want to add two function, so I have to define what is meaning of addition of two function. So now since I know how to add the real number, so that kind of things I know. So suppose that I have developed some kind of hardware circuit which is able to add the real number. Now suppose I have to add two function, then should I require some new hardware? So mathematician is telling no, there is no requirement of new hardware. What you can do, if now you have some kind of function, then interpret that function in terms of real number. So you can see here that each time instant this will create some kind of real number, and same time instant this will create the real number. So if you add pointwise addition, then you are able to define how to, you are also able to define that how to add two functions. So basically I just know how to add two real numbers, and after that I am going to write one kind of program which is going to detect each and every entry at each time instant, and after that I am going to add, or I am going to use same hardware to add that two number. Okay, so hardware is limited. Hardware is only able to understand that how to add real number, and I will tell you in later phase that hardware is only able to understand how to add some kind of binary number and how basically they are mapping real number to binary number again. So whenever we are creating some system, then we want to expend money on hardware as less as possible, and after that what basically we are doing, we are going to write some kind of program such that that particular program gives some information to hardware, and based on that program they will work. So here you can see that this is nothing but some kind of software program you can interpret, that now whenever you have to add two function, software program will detect the peak of this function at that particular time, and they are identify that number, and after that they are going to add that two number. Okay, it might possible in order to identify this real number I need some kind of hardware. I am not claiming that no hardware is required, it might possible. Okay, I don't know. After that, if you want to do subtraction, then same way we will proceed. If you want to do multiplication, same way I will proceed. And if you want to do composition, then again I am going to do same way. I am going to nest the function. So inside nesting I will detect some peak, and after that I am going to put this peak here, and after that I will see the numbers. So, and you know that addition of two real number is always real number, and due to that reason you can take any real valued function. What is meaning of real valued function? That entry input, suppose I have some function, if input is real number as well as output is real number, then that is called real valued function. Okay, vector valued function, it might possible I have, suppose if I have some kind of mapping where that will map from Rn to R or R to Rn, something like that, then we are going to talk about vector valued function. We will talk about that function in the later part of this course. So main theme is that you have to understand this point carefully, that whenever you are developing some kind of machine, then we want to put minimum load on the machine, and due to that reason you might have seen that when computer is not there, at that time also we have a small calculator, and using calculator we are able to do lot of operations. How basically we are doing, one small computer is able to add anything, multiply anything, able to do lot of operation. So basically they are following the same principle. So due to that reason you have to understand correctly that how basically mathematics is important, what kind of things I have to put in hardware, what kind of program I have to write, how to interact with, how to communicate it. And due to that reason I have started from the abstract algebra. So if you see the abstract algebra, that is very beautiful. So what I am telling, that you can take any two real valued function and you can define any operation, that addition, multiplication, subtraction and composition, all is again a binary operation. So binary operation doesn't mean that 0 1, any function you can add real valued function, then again that is binary operation. Similarly, now what I am going to do, I am going to define some strange binary operation. This is self-cooked example. You can tell that most of time we are generating some kind of example or copying some kind of example from the book, such that you are able to understand the concept. So z plus means some kind of positive numbers we are talking about. So I have two positive numbers, and what basically we are telling, I am going to define some kind of operation, that if A operated on B, here you can see that I have used multiplication kind of symbol, but this is not multiplication. I am telling that when A operate on B, that is equal to a smaller of A and B. So suppose, and if both are equal, then I can take any one, A or B. So suppose if you have to define operation like 2 operated on 11, so based on this operation, that is 2, 15 multiplied by 10, multiplied, either you can tell multiplication or tail operation, that doesn't matter, or binary operation, that is 10, because I know how our machine is interpreting that operation. So now you know that how basically machine is able to understand. Now I have already told you that why this is binary operation. You can see that I have started with two numbers 15 and 10. So inside set I have just two elements, and whatever output that is coming, that is also from the same set, and due to that reason, that is binary operation. Anyone has confusion on this? So if you define binary operation like A work A, actually you can tell that operated on B, then that is a smaller of A and B, then that is binary operation, because after applying this kind of operation, what happens, whatever number or whatever result I am going to get, that is again belongs to same set. So that is the requirement of binary operation. Now let us try to see another example. Similarly, suppose f be the set of all real valued functions. Just now I have tell you that what is real valued function, and domain I am assuming that is real. It means that f t that map to some kind of real number I am telling. And suppose that if you are going to define some kind of operation f operated on g, then that is going to give some kind of h, and h is the function greater than f and g. Now you have to make sure that this particular thing is going to represent some kind of binary operation or not. So you can see that this definition is worthless, because h, we are telling that some function greater than f and g. So I have several function, so same quantity will map to several quantity, so still that is not a function, and due to that reason, whatever definition I am telling, that definition is not correct. So whenever you are defining some kind of binary operation, okay, and most of time we are defining binary operation to perform some task. Suppose you have two quantity and you want to just pick up maximum, then we are again defining some kind of binary operation, and these kind of program is required to machine to perform some task. Another very important thing, that after defining binary operation, I have told you that already, that mathematicians do not want to define more symbol, but what basically they are going to do, they are going to cook same symbol in several places, and after that they are going to generate the things. So you can see that they have defined just three symbol of set. After that they have symbol of Cartesian product, symbol of function. So three things they have developed, and after that, now what basically they are going to do, they are going to play with that, and they are telling that binary operation means now you can take any set, and after that you can operate on that set, and whatever number you are going to get, that again lie inside this set. So they are not going beyond this set. Okay, and after that, after this set, you might have seen that using Cartesian product I can define the function. So after that they are telling that with help of binary structure, is it possible to define, or is it possible to apply the concept of function and generate some new structure? Our answer is true, and that is nothing but that is called isomorphic binary structure. And in control theory, particularly these kind or if you are working on machine learning, computer programming, or programming, then these kind of things is very much important. So you can see that here I have defined operation. I do not know what kind of operation this is, but what I am telling that if A operated on A, then C number comes into picture. If A operated on B, then A comes into picture. A operated on C, then B comes into picture. So I have some kind of table, and this operated on this, then they will generate this entry of the table. So I have ABC, and after that you can see that whatever output I am getting, so that is also ABC. So input is ABC, and if you see the output set, that is also ABC. So and I have certain kind of operation. I do not know what kind of operation I have written here. So this is Bendy operation, because that will satisfy the property of Bendy operation, because A, this set operated on itself, that is going to generate whatever quantity that is again lie inside the same set. If you remember the terminology of this means previous slide, then I have written this set as A, and A operated on A, we are telling that that again lie into A. So that kind of structure I have now, and you can see that if I will change A by this symbol, B by this symbol, and C by this symbol, still whatever structure I am getting, that is again a some kind of Bendy operation or Bendy structure. So structurally both are similar. So what happens that several things that existing in universe, and somehow they are structurally similar. They are exactly not similar, but structurally that is similar. So I will tell you very simple example, that suppose I have some kind of resistor. So what basically we are doing, that I am going to apply voltage, and after that I am going to get current, and whatever relation I am getting, that proportionality relationship. Now you can replace that resistor by mass. So what happens, and you can apply, in place of voltage you can apply the force. So I will write, then things become little more clear. You have resistor, and you are going to apply now voltage across this resistor. I have mass, and in place of voltage, now what I am going to do, I am going to apply some kind of force. So here current comes into picture, and here basically position or velocity comes into picture, or some kind of acceleration you can tell, because algebraic equation I am telling. So acceleration comes into picture, and you are able to see that these two things are almost exactly similar, because this is also governed by same law IT, and this is also governed by the same law FT and M into AT. So if you replace I by A, FT by V, and M by R, then there is no difference. So structurally there exists similar several system, okay, that is looking different, but there exists certain kind of relation, and it is possible to show that using this concept of isomorphism I can able to identify those kind of structure or system. So isomorphism is very important concept. We are going to see that kind of concept using some kind of example. Still again I am not going to deeper inside the theory, just I will give you the idea that whenever two things are isomorphic, then how to identify. But main theme is little bit different. What I am telling, that using some structure, a small structure, how to create the system, how to create the building. So if I know the blocks, then using that blocks I can able to create the building. So similar kind of concept basically mathematicians are using. They are just applying the notion of set, after that some kind of operation, and they are actually building the whole algebraic structure. And using this finite number of structure, it is possible to show that now you can take any object of the universe. I am telling any object, you are able to understand using this kind of terminology, using the terminology of abstract algebra, or very special classes of abstract algebra. We are telling linear algebra, and due to that reason, whenever we are dealing with the modern control theory or system theory, then at that time these concepts are very important. So if you have any questions, confusion, then please let me know.